Okay. I'd like to call the monthly meeting of the Human Services Committee of the Orange County Legislature order. Please note that this meeting is being transmitted live via video stream. The public can find the link to this video stream by visiting the Orange County website. Please be sure to silence your cell phones, tablets, and other devices, as the microphones in here are extremely sensitive and robust. So at this moment, if you would please stand up and join me in a moment of silent reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to invite Commissioner Miller of the Social Services and Mental Health up.
We do a roll call.
Oh, yeah. They do roll call. Thank you. Sorry.
Emo, Anagnostakis,
Present.
Ellers.
Here.
Luhan,
Present.
Quatel. Here. Tui,
Here.
Sutherland.
Here.
6 present, 1 absent.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, so
How are
welcome.
you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. Good afternoon.
Both?
Ready for the cold, huh?
Okay, so we have item 1A in front of us, a request to authorize an additional appropriation to the 2022 budget in the amount of $223,011. These federal funds are being made available through the American Rescue Plan and are administered by the Administration for Community Living. The funds provided will be used to enhance, improve, and expand Adult Protective Services ability to investigate allegations of abuse, neglect, and exploitation. Legislative request number 269.
So moved. Second.
Tui, legislators Tui and Tonto. Okay.
Thank you. So I believe you have all of the attachments, correct? The attachments A, that so the different allotments of funds that came in and the uses of them. So, some of the funds will be used, about 68,000, to enhance, improve, expand the adult protective services, improving access to being able to do remote work, to be able to conduct community outreaches, to provide goods and services to consumers who are on the caseload with adult protective services, to be able to pay for extended overtime, to allow our staff to be able to meet the needs of the clients we serve, and also to pay for any training and or travel costs connected to COVID-19, as well as to help educate and support our consumers in least restrictive environment to address COVID-19 challenges. Additional funds for establishing elder shelters or short-term housing, again, to provide goods and services, all the same intention behind these 3 different allotments of funds that have all been added into one total amount to be included in this legislative request.
Okay, thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Legislator Tui?
So our amount, is $223,011, right? But on that attachment A, it doesn't, I don't see Orange County on here at all. And then there's,
It's in the second column.
oh, but there it is, it comes back around, yep.
And then 3 different attachment A's that add up to that total amount.
Okay, thank you.
About 55,000 of our adult population here in Orange County are seniors. So is that population ages, our needs for adult protective services have increased. For example, we used to have 1 caseload of guardianships. We now have 2 caseloads of guardianships.
Actually, they've added a 3rd worker.
So I mean, we're seeing significant increase in needs. of
It's
those.
55%.
No, sorry. About 20% of our adult population is considered senior, 55,000. 55% would be really high. Our dad is 6 caseloads.
Okay, Legislator Chantel?
Thank you. Does this help with the PINS? Well, because you said there was no more PINS funding coming in when you talked about that, the budget or the last meeting.
Opposite end of the spectrum, so this is adult protected, so it could include though, that's not true, because adult protected could be anywhere from 18 and older that
Right.
we would serve. But there certainly are times in our child protective works very closely with adult protector. They have what we call teaming, where they work together for those who are transitioning into adulthood out of our foster care system. So we do work very closely, but no, it does not directly impact PINS population and funding for PINS. It's not used for that.
Now, the PINS funding used to come from New York State, correct?
Correct, yes.
And they're not including it in the 2023 budget, is that what you've been told, or when did they exclude it?
It was 2022, but it could have been 2021. COVID has me so confused.
Yeah.
What year did they eliminate? It was
It's
2021.
already been excluded though.
And how much do we used to receive roughly? I mean, I know you can't give me an exact amount.
It was
It's a combination between our juvenile delinquents and our PINs and a breakdown, so it's hard to delineate one versus the other. $1.5 million is approximately between the two, but the majority of that is juvenile delinquents. There were some children that are in institutions that were formerly PINs designation, but for the most part, those children, most have been
absorbed in the community.
absorbed, yeah.
Yeah.
So therefore, they're no longer in those settings that
Still
they were.
exists,
They
correct?
still exist, but the cost isn't the cost to us that it was before, and therefore the cost for them is significantly lower.
And we haven't placed any PINS youth, what would be considered PINS youth in placement. So if we did, it would be a total county taxation cost. But remember, the intention behind this legislation, federal legislation that leads into changes in state legislation and changes in how we operate, is really to acknowledge the vulnerability of the young brain and to have rehabilitation supports in place for them in their community where they're best served. You know, as soon as you take a youth out of a community, even clinically, they say, you know, running adolescent groups, adolescents learn from each other how to misbehave, to say it kindly.
And to further misbehave.
To further misbehave. So the best thing is to have young people in families and have young people surrounded by adults who can support them. So having them go to institutions wasn't the best response, and particularly for PINS-related kids. So currently, we don't have any PINS kids placed in any institutions.
They do
And by-
also
I'm sorry.
cover adults
I-
too, though, the law? the
PINS,
legislation?
no. Persons in need of supervision is 18 and under.
And by moving them to those
17.
preventive programs, we're able to use preventive dollars, so there is 62% funding by eliminating the fact that they're not in PINS programs, but they're in preventive programs.
Yeah, we have a whole package of preventive services that we use for them. Not to mention, we also have the collaborative between probation, mental health, and social services, where they come in through that central point of entry and make case conference to provide support and send them in the direction they'd be best served.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's get back to this request. Does anybody else have any other questions? No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now on to, just so it can be noted, we have 2 monthly reports to review, as we didn't do it last month because of the budget. So, this will do August 1st?
Well, if you look just
Or
look
you
at
wanna-
September, go to September
That's
20.
just- oh, yeah, okay.
Right, September 2022 includes your August
Yeah, okay.
timeframes. So if you just want to do the combination of the two. We see, I'll just say that we had a convening recently with all the DSS commissioners across the state and our state commissioners. So commissioners of OCFS and OTVA. And I just want to say that the trend that we're seeing here, where we see only slight increases in family assistance and safety net, is a trend that's also being seen across the state. We're all waiting for these numbers to increase. We know, I just walked in this morning with Steve Nobby, said our unemployment's below 4% in Orange County. And yet our numbers are very slowly increasing of cash assistance and need for these supports. So we're waiting for that trend to change and see an increase, but there's really not an explanation for why we haven't seen more people coming forward looking for assistance in this area. SNAP benefits, we are seeing an increase in SNAP. We've talked here many times about the number of applications we're receiving. We're still at approximately 225 to 250 applications per week. We had an audit recently by New York State OTDA, and timeliness was raised as a concern, which is not a surprise to us with that number of applications coming through. We'll review a corrective action plan, really trying to find a way. Our staff are all working overtime. They're coming in early, they're staying late, they're coming in on weekends. And it's not really vacancies in that unit, although I will say there are 4 support staff vacancies, and those are the foundation to our work. So that is a struggle. But we will be looking at potentially having to increase staff in that unit. These numbers have been up. We thought it was COVID related, but it's really been over 2 years now. The trend has been there. So with that increase in applications, we're going to need to address staffing in that area. HEAP applications. I just received my update before I came in here today. HEAP opened season November 4th or November 1st, excuse me. We have to date received 1,191 applications. They're flying in for HEAP services. That staff throughout this entire season works overtime. The lead, she works 11-hour days through the whole HEAP season. It's just how they manage. We have temps that come in to assist with this big influx of applications in response, and they're doing everything they can to process these applications as quickly as possible. So appreciate all of their efforts. They're an incredible team.
Jen?
Yes.
Questions? And Darcy, with the payments, with the way the price of oil is now, it's up close to 6, it's over 5. How's that working? Are they'll cover it up until a certain amount, or will they cover it no matter what it is, or how high it goes?
Yeah, they cover, they give a one-time benefit. So basically, like, for example, just one was processed today, so I know the total amount, that individual is receiving $925 worth of fuel. So I'm not really sure, it's based on income, obviously. Cost of fuel, they're not supposed to, obviously, not change the fuel amounts. That's required to stay consistent, whether you're getting HEAP benefit or paying out of pocket. I saw recently 26% increase in cost for oil and 10% increase in cost for electricity. I mean, it's all of us are going to be paying big bills, there's no question. So yeah, what will happen with the HEAP funds is that you have the initial benefits, you have the emergency benefit, and they, depending on the amount of money the state has and they're able to allocate to the county, could offer a second benefit within the season. Typically, you
Normally it's
do.
one load.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that would come sometime in January, February to get notification of the second benefit. And last year, you may recall, was very extended HEAP season. So, it remains to be seen. That's all dictated to us. The feds, it's all federal dollars, so they come in through the state, and then the state lets us know locally what our responsibility is.
Representative Anagnestakis?
Thank you. Thank you, Darcy. Thank you for all the work that you do. You mentioned that you have a bunch of temps coming in to help out. In our Senate office, we take tremendous advantage of interns. Do you guys use interns at all? They're not paid. They come in and they work for us to get the experience and to get references down the line. And I never asked this question of a county department head before, and I just popped in my head. Do you guys use interns?
We do use interns across both departments. Many of them professional, working their bachelor's degrees or master's degrees, but we also have some who are support staff interns that assist. When you're determining eligibility, obviously you're not going to use an intern for that, but they can help to, run paper, to file, to organize all important stuff that we need to get done. So yes, we do use interns. If you have a good one, send them our way.
I don't know. We keep the good ones.
There you go.
Thank you, Darcy.
Thank you. I'm glad you use them too. It's important.
Yep.
Representative?
And your interns paid?
Unfortunately. There are a lot of business interns I learned when I got out of social work school, they get paid.
Yeah. And I know a lot of businesses used to do that.
I
and,
know.
Now most of them pay their interns.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Thanks. Thank you, Chairman.
Yeah, sure. Anybody else? Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm still on. Okay, just homeless, just taking a look at our numbers. If you look at where we're at for the total homeless served on average per month, we're 246 for 2022. And that is moving in the direction of our pre-COVID numbers, right? So last year, we only had 197 average per month that we were serving, really related to the non-eviction legislation. So with that being removed, we are seeing an increase. I meant to bring a sheet, and I'll make sure to bring it next time, maybe even send it to you guys electronically, but obviously the whole state is in the same predicament with not having enough affordable housing. I'm really working to address it. Some creative ideas coming forward, I think, from our state officials, but acknowledging that we are short by 665,000 affordable housing units in New York State. I mean, 665,000. It's a lot. And that's what we're experiencing here. If I walk through the story of this couple yesterday that I was involved in, or homeless, I mean, it's a desperate situation. So we appreciate the HHAP funding. We appreciate the state's investment in having affordable housing across the state. I think all of us just have to be ambassadors of the message that when an opportunity comes to our county, let's hope our municipalities say yes, because we don't have control over that. And I don't care what municipality it's in, as long as people have a place to sleep. In the meantime, we're temporarily housing them. Other counties are coming into our county using our hotels and motels because they're completely out. Ulster County, Sullivan County, and we're monitoring who they're bringing in, and we don't really have a choice. Obviously they get the bed first, but it makes us more desperate when we have to house our people if our beds are taken by other counties' residents. That's all I have to say to that. Medicaid, 132,580 as of October 20, for February of 2022. We also received a continued waiver for our Medicaid cases, and they will remain open through January of 2023, end of January 2023. So if you recall, that is a waiver that says that there are no closing or recertification requirements for Medicaid. So that will continue once that decision is made to lift that waiver. We will have 2 months advance notice to begin recertification for those Medicaid cases that we, local DSS, manage.
What about those who go into the exchange?
That will be on the state.
They will notify them.
The state will have to begin their recertification process as well.
But if they go through the exchange and they're finding a difficulty, they have to call the state agency, they can't come through.
But we have none of the information from the exchange.
Oh.
So there are, when they have a case that's better served by local DSS, they do hand it over to us. Or that there's complications with it, they'll send it back our way. But we do not have access to their exchange information, so we're not helpful to people who want.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Chairman.
Child Protective Services, again, typical numbers, returning back to our pre-COVID numbers. Need something, say something for our young people. Raise the age, probably the most, and we don't have anything on here yet for raise the lower age, but we will. As you know, the intention behind raise the lower age, raise the age was what I just described a few moments ago. Raise the lower age goes into effect this month. Our plan is due. We will be reviewing tomorrow, finalizing Orange County's raise the lower age plan. So that is anyone who is 11 or under cannot be arrested or charged with crime. So we, DSS is responsible for responding to anyone who's 11 and under who has been accused of having committed a crime, law enforcement will turn that youth over to us. We will have a differential response in place. We will send out within a specific period of time, someone to do an assessment and to make recommendations about what supports would be helpful for that youth and family to prevent a future potential crime from happening and wellness among that age group. The numbers are typically very small for arrests, for offenses. Typically, it is allegation of sexual abuse of one form or another. And we probably have about 20 to 25 per year in that age group who are accused of such acts. So we are prepared to respond to that and hope to have success. It's voluntary, so families will need to be encouraged to participate. All right. Foster care services continue to see reduction in those numbers. 237 youth in care. Just look at 2018, just 5 years ago, in the month of September, we had 410 youth in care. I truly believe all the collaborative and supportive, responsive work that we're doing is helping to empower families and allowing children to stay in their home of origin and safely stay in their home of origin. And it's really, really good work amongst foster care, our child protective staff, and our partners. Adult protective services, again, you see those numbers. Currently, we are working with lower caseloads that are reported here. This doesn't report our guardianship numbers, but currently we have open 34 cases.
These
It's-
are new persons assigned. So these are just new
Yeah, I was gonna
cases.
say, that doesn't make any sense, 64. Yeah, very good, thank you. On average, new cases, the total is 406 cases, on average a month is 445.1 cases, which is, again, near our 2018 numbers. So where we see the reduction in foster care, we see the continuous numbers in adult protective. And as I mentioned, we add in those guardianship numbers as well. Home care continues to be a challenge. It's funny, I was talking to Legislator Amon about something else earlier today, and we continue to struggle with getting nurses to be able to do the assessments for us, to be able to approve hours of support, and then to have staff available for direct services to fill those hours that are recommended. Child support, just typical as you've seen. We do, as I mentioned the last time I was here, see some reduction in their numbers, which seems to be playing out across the state. And we think that has to do with courts needing to catch up with the COVID closures and emergency response only times. So we should see those numbers balance out in 2023. Special Investigations Unit is pretty much almost fully staffed, doing a fabulous job of investigating any potential allegations of fraud and nothing of concern there.
So, with the special investigations, when you talk about fraud, that's all with in any aspect of any kind of benefits that they receive from the county.
Correct, yes. Typically, we get different reports, so people send in, they fill out their application and they send their applications in. And then we get reports from all these different very, very confidential systems. And that gets then compared to what we have on file for those individuals. So if they say their income was 30,000, but we get an IRS report says their income was 60,000, we have a problem.
Thank you.
And I believe you did all get the child care information, right? With the grid to show the 300% above poverty level. But you got it by email.
Yes.
I said in between the two meetings.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Anything else? Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you so much for
Thank
being here and your reports as always are great.
Thank you very much. Some of you in a few minutes.
That concludes the meeting. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Please,
Start sound.
I'm sorry, Pete. Motion, Timmy and Chantel, all in favor? Okay, thank you.
could feel that presence behind you.
I did, I felt that heavy energy. Keep your